For joining. It's certainly a pleasure to be with everybody. I appreciate the student athletes, past and present, joining us tonight. Director of Athletics, Albert Jones, and for the future Bald Eagles, welcome. As Justin said, my name's Doug Spatafor. I'll give you a little bit of a brief introduction. I serve as the Senior Director of Athletic Communications and Marketing at Commonwealth Loch Haven. I'm based here at Loch Haven. I'm also the campus lead for communications, and additionally, I serve some other roles within our strategic communication team right now. But I have the privilege of being associated with Loch Haven Athletics for almost 25 years now, and it means a ton to me. And I think one of the things you'll learn, hopefully tonight, if you haven't already, is a lot about the Haven family. We preach that because it's a real thing, and it's really really special to us. I think one of the things I can say too, although it's been a long time now, I am a proud former student athlete. I'm going to say this with Director Jones here, a three-sport college athlete. Yep, three-sport, cross country, indoor and outdoor track and field. Yes, they're different. So I share that story not to say I'm cool or I'm the man, but my wife reminds me that she was the All-American in the family. So I was a Loch Haven student athlete way back when. So was my wife. She was a three-time All-American for the lacrosse team. But again, I want you to get a sense of the Haven family, and that's what it's all about. Because without the Haven family, 20 some years ago, I wouldn't be here talking to you, the next generation of Bald Eagles. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. I think one of the things that we want to stress as well is what do we do in athletic communications, and a lot about the Loch Haven student athlete experience. So Loch Haven Athletics, it's certainly special, right? Small town in central Pennsylvania, but 21 athletic programs. They're listed there. And many of you know that as you went through the recruiting process. Maybe you were recruited to participate in football or women's basketball or lacrosse, but we have a lot of other sports. I think the really unique and special thing about Loch Haven is the number of student athletes. When you look across the population on campus, we have almost 500 student athletes each year. So a large population of the students on the Loch Haven campus are student athletes. You're part of something special. You're going to be part of something special starting next year whenever you enroll. Again, welcome to the family. It is a special family. 21 sports, 2 Division I programs. I think one of the most special things over my career, particularly the last 5 to 6 years, is the growth in athletics. We've added sports across the country right now. You may see college athletic programs eliminating sports. Loch Haven's adding them. Women's wrestling, tennis, golf. We're adding sports. We're giving student athletes the opportunity to grow and participate. And I know that means a lot to everybody on the screen. But again, it's something that makes Loch Haven, it makes the Haven very, very special. I think here's a good time. I do want to give you a little sense of some of the recent accomplishments. Right now, and a big credit is our Director of Athletics, who you'll hear from shortly. But the last couple years, arguably 2 of the most incredible years Loch Haven has ever had. Top to bottom. When you look at the success that our programs have had from the fall to the winter to the spring sports, just unbelievable stuff. We have student athletes achieving All-American status, competing for championships, and the academic excellence that our Bald Eagle student athletes achieve is truly second to none. It's been remarkable the last couple years. So there's some on your screen. The list of accomplishments, that could be 12 slides based on just this year alone. A lot of the student athletes you're seeing on this screen are a part of something very, very special. Our women's basketball team's coming off back-to-back years. Our football team, an incredible turnaround. Women's wrestling, one of our newest sports, competes at such a high level on the national stage. Lacrosse has been sensational. Our cheerleaders do so much to support athletics here on campus, do so much in the community. The track and field program. So I don't think you said you were a member of the track and field program, but what our track and field program does on an annual basis is truly remarkable. So again, just to see that level of success, again, for an old guy like myself who's been here for 20 plus years, it means an awful lot to us. And again, this next generation, we're just excited to get you here on campus and see what you're going to achieve. Before I jump into the academic toolkit, I do want to share a little bit what we do here at Loch Haven and Athletic Communications. I didn't get a chance to get a slide over to Justin, but in athletic communications, just so you do know, basically what we do in my office is we promote and publicize the student athletes. We promote the teams, the coaches, and most importantly, the things that you're going to do on the field, in the pool, on the track while you're here at Loch Haven. How we do that? A number of different ways: website, social media, photos, videography. We produce the video streams. So if you're not from Loch Haven, maybe mom and dad, aunt and uncle, your family, your friends, they can't make it to every event at Loch Haven. Well, you know what? They're going to be able to watch you compete, whether it's in the pool, on the football field, the lacrosse field, basketball court, whatever it is. We produce those streams so people at home can watch you achieve greatness. Additionally, one of the things we do is we work as a liaison to your local media. Those of you who aren't from the area, we want to make sure all the people back home know of all the great things you're doing. We take a lot of pride in that. So again, we want to take care of you. Student athletes want to make you look good. Quan and Zoe, one of the things they also do while they're here on campus, they're very involved in the media program. Quan was an intern for us last year. Zoe was. So I think one of the really neat things of how we do it at Haven is we rely on students to help us do the work as well. Student workers, interns, graduate assistants. Our operation looks much different than it does at Penn State. If we were doing this at Penn State, there'd be 54 Dougs talking to you tonight. Here at Loch Haven, there's one Doug. But that's what makes us special at Loch Haven, because we have the student support. And the reason I say that right now is, as I go on the next couple slides, I want to tell you, as you come here as freshmen, get involved from day one. That is the special thing about Loch Haven. It's much more than just being a student athlete. It's much more than just playing baseball or softball. Get involved, become involved within your major, clubs and organizations. We've got students on here that are student trustees, involved in clubs. Take advantage of everything that Loch Haven has to offer. So the academic toolkit, and again, Justin, jump in here when you want to, but I think the one thing that we can stress as well, and not to beat the drum, but when you come to Loch Haven, again, it's the Haven family, right? We're here to support you. We want you to win championships. We want you to be an All-American, but most importantly, we need you in 4 or maybe 5 years to walk across that stage, get the diploma, and go on to that next stage in your life. So while we're here, we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to do all those things. You're going to have an academic advisor, your professors. I can't stress this enough. When I was a freshman, way back when I
Not
took
too
my
long ago.
it was a long time ago, Justin. Don't
Not
be
too long ago.
kind.
Come on.
When I took a recruiting trip to Loch Haven, I got to meet the track and field coaches who are still here, which is really neat. But I also got to meet the advisor that I would have if I became a journalism major, and the head of the department at the time. That sealed it for me. I was here for 1 hour and I got to meet the people that I would not only be competing for and with, but I got to meet the people that were going to be teaching me. And that meant a lot to me. And that never left. So at Loch Haven, get to know your professors. The professors at Loch Haven are extremely supportive of student athletes. They're supportive of everybody, but they really do care about what you're doing, and they're here to help you. We have an unbelievable student success center, tutorial services, the writing center. If you need help, we're able to get you that help. Whether it's mental health, if you need help with billing, you need to pay a bill, you need to get whatever it may be, use the Student Success Center, use your coaches, use the people on this screen, use Doug Spatafor, use Albert Jones, use Justin White, and we can help you. There's so many things to take advantage of on this campus that goes far beyond what's listed in the academic toolkit, but there's things out there to help you. And we want you to know from day one, do not be afraid to ask. There is absolutely no such thing as a stupid question. Justin, I don't know if you want to add anything on that.
Yeah, Doug. I think that you mentioned a great point there when you start talking about mental health, because it's hard being a student athlete, and I'm pretty sure all the student athletes on this call can attest to it. And then one of the main reasons why I say that too is because we work so hard, we train all year round, winter, summer, we sacrifice a lot for a goal, right? And sometimes we don't always achieve that goal we're looking for, whether that be All-American, whether that be getting on the field for some more time, and whether that be, whatever it is. And we all got our own troubles and things going on at home that we all have to take care of as well. And it being in the classroom and managing that, and it could play a factor into our mental health. And it's okay to, essentially cry out, not cry out, but essentially ask for help, right? There's been a point in period throughout my time as a student athlete, right? Like I remember, even though to the younger folk on this call, 2021 sounds like dog years to y'all. It sounds like a long time ago, but to me, I blinked twice and it feels like yesterday. But like, back in 2021 when I was playing, I had one of the rough seasons of my life, but I felt like I was so prepared. I felt like, mentally I was ready, physically I was in the best shape of my life, and things happen, so injuries happen, things that are sometimes out of your control, and it took a toll on us mentally. I had to go to counseling services and talk through the issues. I had mentors on campus that I was able to talk through things with. So, please, do not hesitate to really, use the resource that is provided to you as student athletes, because mental health does matter. And another thing that I'd like to touch on too here is you have a faculty athletic representative. Essentially, you have a union rep between you and the faculty member, a person, a point of contact to be able to, draw the line and bridge the gap between student and professor too as well, to allow you to be able to communicate on a more effective level with your professors on that sense too.
No, thanks, Justin. And as I wrap it up, I just want to hit on a couple final notes. I want to say too, when we talk about the Haven family, it's not just campus, right? It's an amazing community that Loch Haven is. It's a community that supports Loch Haven and Loch Haven student athletes. They will come and watch your events. They want you to win. They want you to be successful. So you're coming to a really, really special town that cares about athletics. As I said, please use me as a resource. You can drop questions in the chat. I don't want to jump on Justin on how we're going to do the Q&A, but all my contact information is available at the athletic website. So go lhu.com. Feel free to email. I look forward to seeing you here on campus. But again, it means a ton to me to be here because, as Justin said, being a student athlete at Loch Haven, it can be tough, right? We're going to ask a lot of you. We expect a lot of you, your time, your energy. It's more than just practice and going to class, right? It's a weightlifting, it's the extra hours, it's the community service, it's all those extra things we're going to ask of you. But I tell you what, coming to Loch Haven to be a student athlete, to be a bald eagle, will be the greatest honor and privilege of your life. And that's why being here tonight to share some words with you means so much to me, because that was a long time ago for me. It was, but that was the greatest days of my life being a student athlete at Loch Haven. And that's why I'm so happy to be associated with Loch Haven still. And it gives me no greater honor to turn it over to somebody who is a tremendous friend and a great mentor to me. But that's our interim director of athletics, Albert Jones. Again, I can't stress enough, folks, what he has done from a leadership standpoint over the last couple years, and just appreciate his leadership and support of all things Loch Haven athletics. So again, Albert, take it away.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you to Justin for the opportunity to join everyone here tonight. I do want to say special shout out to our incoming class of future Bald Eagles. I look forward to meeting all of you, and I think as you will find, my enthusiasm and infectious passion for Haven athletics runs very, very deep with me. So far deep that I've gotten a tattoo on my body that says LHU. So I have bled for this organization and this university and the athletic program as well. I'm excited. I know we have future leaders, future conference, all conference, future champions that are on this call that are going to be part of Haven Nation for many, many years to come. What I do want to stress to you is the importance of why you are here and what you are going to be doing over the next 4 or possibly 5 years. As we have the slide on the TV there, it says NCAA eligibility. So it's important for me to stress to you that I need you to be focused in the classroom. I need you to understand that you are a student athlete, and with that responsibility comes the student part first, the athlete part second. If you have been recruited by your coach, if you have an opportunity to play intercollegiate athletics, you will probably hear a similar story from the panel of student athletes that are on this call. They are so focused on their academics that when they step onto the field of competition, they give 110%. And I need you to understand what that means. I don't need you to be stressing over a test or a paper, a written assignment, study groups, projects, when you are on the field come Saturdays, Wednesdays, Sundays, any day of the week. When you compete and you wear that Haven on the front, I need to know that you are all in what we're trying to accomplish, and that is to win and be successful. In order to do that, you got to have your academics together. You got to be focused. You've got to be dedicated to ensuring that you go to class every day, that you are studying, that you are picking up on the academics, because if you want to be a team player and you want to be part of something that's special, if you decide not to go to class and not to commit yourself academically, you are letting your team down. You are letting the athletic program down that you're a part of. You're letting the university down to that point. What I mean by that is, if you can't be disciplined to go to class and do the schoolwork, the purpose of why you're here, how can I count on you to be able to play defense, score on offense, give me your 110% when it comes game day to that point? That's a mentality aspect that you have got to ensure that you are locked in and focused at all times. I share that with you as a former student athlete who decided to walk on the other side. And what I mean by that is, some of those on the story on this video have heard my story of my first semester. I had a 1.9. I decided not to go to class. I decided not to pay attention. I decided that the athlete was more important than being the student. I had a real quick wake-up call with respects for that. Let my mistake be the foundation for your knowledge to move forward, to not repeat what I've already done. I need you to stand on my shoulder to be the next generation, and obviously learn from those who provide you with guidance and advice. As Doug has said, you have myself, you have Justin, you have the other student athletes that are on this call. We have made the mistakes that we want to avoid for you to that point, but we can't help you unless you understand the focus you need to put into it. That comes back to the NCAA eligibility. Every year, you've got to demonstrate progress. You have to obviously have the academic performance from a GPA perspective. You've got to stay on track to graduate. And we need to make sure that you, in your 4 seasons of eligibility, you are meeting those standards and exceeding them to that point, because you get the academic out of the way, guess what? It's all fun after that. I'm sure the student athletes will tell you there's no better feeling on game day when you can just go out there, pitch, run, throw, tackle, whatever it is you got to do to shoot, whatever it is, when they know that this is about them on that day, they can have a clear head, clear mind. It is probably the most energetic type opportunities that you have to be able to compete for Loch Haven Athletics. I look forward to seeing all of you competing. I am very active. I want you to feel as though I have your back, because I truly do. Every single sport that I represent, when I go out onto the field, you will see me as one of your loudest cheerleaders. I will pop up when you least expect it, in the least locations, to let you know that I am there and got your back to that point. Haven Nation, as Doug talked about, we are more than a family. This is a culture. This is a belonging. Once you step through the doors of our athletic department, you are part of the family for life. The one thing I like to leave with, and I will obviously turn it back over to Justin, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Loch Haven Athletics, you're either running with us or we're running past you. So with that, let's go, Haven Nation. It's time to get to work.
Listen, I couldn't even say it any better than that. Honestly, I'm ready to just shut the whole thing down. Albert got me fired up. He got me ready to run through a brick wall again. You know what I mean? But let's lock back in here just to talk about some next steps. So we have all future Bald Eagles here on the call. Just some of the next step items on the admission side to just make sure, there's a smooth transition from high school to college. It's kind of like, for any student athletes here that run track and field. It's kind of like passing that baton off, from admissions to coach. Not like the trend on TikTok where you see the girl like swinging at the other girl on the baton. Not like that, but, more so of passing it off the right way. So, the next steps is submitting your enrollment deposit if you haven't already. That will trigger off a series of events, like you'll get your Commonwealth University email and password. You'll be able to secure your housing contract too as well. But most importantly, if you haven't already, file your FAFSA. That's the main. If you haven't done that already, that's the number one important thing too as well. Even for the students that are on the call right now, if you haven't already, please file your FAFSA too as well from a retention standpoint. And also, after you submit your enrollment deposit, you'll be able to register for orientation. And then, after you graduate, you got to clear the NCAA Eligibility Center too as well. And if there's any questions, as we start digging into the student panel here, please feel free to drop any and all questions here in the chat. Now we're making this to more so of a conversational based panel here. You know, we have a series list of students with their accolades, with their business, with their majors and their sport here too as well. That touches all different parts of the student athlete experience, right? So I want to start here with Lorenzo. You know, Zoe, can you tell us, you know, about your routine as a student athlete right now? Um, coming off of an electric indoor season.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so like Jay said, I came back from indoor. So for track, just indoor and outdoor season, about 2 weeks in between. You have that spring break trip, and then we go right into outdoor. So within that time, I've just been training, lifting about 4 times a week, on top of going to lifts as well. I think the most important thing in that is just staying grounded. I think you get so carried away with focusing on the next outdoor season. But for me, I think I've just been focused on staying grounded and taking it day by day. With that mentality, I kind of just been able to go through it without being overwhelmed. And I think when you worry about the future so much, you kind of you kind of get anxious. But if you live in the present, you're more peace.
I think you mentioned a great point there, Zoe. You know, about, you know, living in the future and not focusing too, I mean, living in the present and not focusing too much on the future here. Hey, Tiana, can you touch a little bit on, you know, as a freshman, right? Fresh out of high school, touch on us how you transition from high school to college now that you're in your second semester of your freshman year.
Yeah, of course. So, with the athletics, it was definitely a big transition, just, you know, competing and cheering at a higher level than I did before. It's a little bit harder. We practice more and things like that, more commitments like game wise. But academically, transition was also um, kind of easy because I tried to make a point to, you know, go to class and do my work and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely manageable as long as you put the work in and don't let yourself get behind.
And I'll ask a little follow up to that too, T. You know, you're one of the what we have a lot of students here with on campus jobs. Can you talk to us about, as a freshman, how you're able to, and if anybody else wants to jump in on this question too, because there's all of you have on campus jobs here. Can y'all touch a little bit on how is it like to manage being a student athlete and having an on campus job?
So, for my experience, I work in admissions. So, I think that's definitely one of the best on campus jobs because we get to pick our schedules. So, it's really easy for me to go on and pick shifts up around my cheer schedule. But I know I have some friends that have different on campus jobs, and all of their jobs are like willing to work with them with their schedule, and they don't have any issues with that.
And you got the best boss ever, right, T? That's true too, right? All right now. All right now. Kay Jones, talk to us about your on campus, you know, job experience. How is it like, you know, I know you have 2 jobs right now. How is it like managing 2 jobs? Women's basketball player on the road, traveling. What early childhood education major? Talk to us about that.
It is definitely stressful, but you just have to have like a planner and just have your time management and just understand that take it day by day and will be okay. You can pretty much have your own flexible schedule with working on campus, which is nice. So you can work around your practices and your games and like traveling on the bus. So that helps a lot.
Okay, okay. Janeda, you know, talk to us about, you know, young girl from the valley. Talk to us about how, you know, you're able to, you know, I know, you know, we've known each other, you know, since you walked through the doors at the Haven. I know you've been struggling with, you know, some injuries over the past year or so. Talk to us about, you know, how your journey been able to overcome injury, stay focused in the classroom, and do all the wonderful things that you're doing on campus, student trustee. What, you work like 3 different jobs, you know, talk to us about how you're able to stay locked in and focused on that.
Um, Honestly, the resources and the connections I've made here on campus. Since coming to campus, I don't know how I did it. I just networked, connected, reached out, and I got the opportunities that I was given. I work in the president's office, and then from there, it just skyrocketed. Got into admissions, got my student trustee position, um, able to work for. I'm a trio student, so that's for students with disabilities, low income, first generation student. I was able to be a mentor for them as well, and through that program, through admissions, through the Student Success Center, and also through the counseling services, they've all helped me through all those processes, and even disability services too. Because when I got surgery, I was in a sling. I couldn't really type. It was my right hand. That's my dominant arm. So it was very challenging on my mental health, and as well as like physically as well. Physically challenging to be able to like get ready or to be able to go to classes and hold my bag or stuff. But with the resources and the connections I've made, I was able to get the help that I needed mentally, academically, and physically as well. With we have amazing athletic trainers that also helped me with my rehab, and then my coaching staff, and then you too, Jay White, helped me a lot as well with um, changing my mindset as well. Like through that time, it was very difficult. My freshman year, coming into wrestle after I had a great season in high school, only wrestling 2 years in Liberty High School, and then coming to school straight off the bat, get injured. It was very difficult and challenging, but surrounding myself with the right people definitely helped me. And then here I am now, recovering, still doing better. And even though I wasn't wrestling, I was still doing so much and was able to become so much successful outside of wrestling. Also reminded me that's not my only identity. Like I'm a student first, and making those connections there, the resources that I had.
I think you mentioned a great point about identity, Janeda. Like there's been so long throughout my experience. I don't know if y'all felt the same way throughout y'all student athlete experience. Like it took me a while to overcome that identity of I'm just a football player. You're not just your sport. You're more than just a lacrosse player. You're more than just a track and field player. You're more than just a women's basketball player. Abs, Abby, can you talk to us a lot more? Can you talk to us, elaborate more about how you were able to find your identity outside of your sport?
Yeah, so I work in athletics, and I think I doing that, I've met a lot of different people throughout the school. I'm obviously like close with the administration here and all the coaches, so I have a lot of support from them. But it puts you in a position to really put yourself out there to meet other people and just kind of find the crowd that you want to stick with. And I found I really enjoy my job. I work in the athletic department. I've got a lot of great supportive people around me. Um, so yeah, I think just making those connections with people on campus is really important to finding out the things that are important to you and, pushing yourself to succeed.
Absolutely. That's a great answer. And future bald eagles that are watching this call right now, if there's any questions that you have, like what is whatever it is, please feel free to drop them in the chat Q&A. We'd be more than happy to delegate out these questions here. But QT Quan, Marquand Williams, if you don't mind answering this, because you come from a different lens, right? You're from the mill, you're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You're a transfer student. You transferred in here to Loch Haven. I want to say about what 3 years ago now. Can you,
Yeah.
yeah, can you talk to us a little bit, about what it was like for you to transfer in to a place for the that was unknown to you at first too?
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta take that risk and bet on yourself when it comes to different situations. This is support staff here, not only football, but the academic side was very supportive of me coming in. But you really just gotta adapt. Everyone comes from different environments. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, different cities and towns. Once you learn to adapt to a different area, you'll feel more welcome. You feel more at ease, and that's what I got here. When you're able to adapt to an environment that you have no idea what you're getting yourself into, and with the connections and the people here, it makes things a lot easier. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great point. Now we have a question here in the chat. Where do you recommend incoming student athletes live? Tiana, you want to touch on that real quick?
So I think majority of our incoming freshmen student athletes do choose to live in Fairview. And most that I know also choose to room with their teammates, either in our shared or private suite. There's probably some student athletes that do live in Smith Hall, but I would say the majority do live in Fairview.
Janeda, you lived in Fairview Suites, right?
Yes, I did. At the time I was freshman year, first semester. I had a private room with one of my teammates. And then I ended up getting in my second semester, getting my own room, a double as a single, which I loved. I ended up learning that I love being by myself. And now I'm in Campus Village, my sophomore year, and I still love it. I got me and my cat, and I'm cooling. I still get to see my teammates, but I still get to get my space that I needed. And my own little personal spot where I could be my independent and um, still have those connections that I need from everyone else, but still having my own little quiet spot away from everyone too.
All right now. Zoe, can you touch on your experience on living in Fairview Suites?
Yeah, I've actually got another question in there. I'm actually still living there right now. I'm a sophomore, like I said, but I decided to come back to Fairview because of the simple fact that one, it's close to everything, and two, I'm gonna just keep it real. I don't like roommates. I like being by myself. So I prefer coming, from a long day from a meet. Sometimes we come 1 o'clock in the morning, sometimes two. The last thing I deal with is trying to stay quiet, because a roommate's sleeping or something. So for me personally, I just like having my own space. So I would say if you're, years going down the line and you're a sophomore, future ball Eagles, I would recommend staying at Fairview, but financially, if you can afford it.
Another thing too, question here in the chat is, can you choose your roommate or are you given one? Now I can give my own, administrative answer here, but talk to us through the process, the students, please talk to us. How was your experience, choosing a roommate and things like that. Tiana, you have a roommate, or you had a roommate before too, right? Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
So my situation's a little different because my roommate and I were best friends in high school too. So we also cheer together now. So it was kind of just obvious for us to room together. But I know for other people on our team, we had like summer practice and stuff, practice in the spring. And that is when they met each other and decided to room together. So you can definitely pick your roommate and you can be given one too if you don't want to pick. You can just go random.
And you can also join our app too. It's called Zemi. So Zemi is a platform that we use to connect students, that are that is in your cohort to come to campus, and it's how we, you find your roommate too as well through our Zemi app as well. Please again, feel free to drop some more questions in the chat here. I love a great conversation. If you all couldn't tell, I'm like a certified yapper. I can go on forever, so I don't want to take too much of y'all time here tonight. But Quan, from your experience playing, what was the day in the life of a football player for you?
Yeah. As the years changed, things got easier. But when I first got on campus, a lot of my classes are online. And the good thing about being a student athlete, you're able to pick your classes a lot earlier than the regular students. So that's going to give you an opportunity to make sure your schedule fluctuates pretty smoothly. So if you need classes in the morning, because of practice in the afternoon, you'll be able to have the opportunity, or vice versa. If you have practice earlier in the day, you have to get later classes, you're able to do that without like falling behind because classes aren't available. So that's one thing that is very beneficial for us, or for you guys, I should say, is being able to pick classes early before anybody else. So with that, classes all morning. You get up super. I got up super early. Would train before classes. go to classes, and I'm in class all the way to like 1 or 2, and then it's straight from there, straight to practice and meetings. And then after that, it's pretty much you're going home and sleeping or getting work done. So as a student athlete, your day is going to be jam packed, Monday through Friday. Sometimes Monday through Saturday, depends on the type of sport you're playing. So you honestly, you just got to put your priorities in order, making sure you get the things you need to get done first, and then everything else will trickle down. So it will be jam packed. Your schedule will be busy, so you expect that. But once you get through your first few semesters, it'll go smoothly.
Thanks, QT. We had a question here in the Q&A. When do student athletes move in? This can, y'all can feel free to touch on this too as well if there's something that I'm missing here, but it honestly depends on the sport, right? So if you're a fall sport, you're moving in a lot earlier because you got camp, right? So fall sports, you move in. I remember, before we checked in like the first or second week of August is usually when, fall sports check in, you got fall camp, whether that's field hockey, football, cheer, you know, a bunch of soccer, men's, women's soccer too as well. Kiana, can you touch a little bit on the the winter sports? When do you move in typically? What does that process look like coming off a winter break, going into winter break? I know women's basketball season runs into that break a little bit. Can you talk to us about, what does that process look like?
Being in a winter sport, we get to move in mostly. We don't really move our stuff out in the winter going into the next semester because we're here. But when we move all of our stuff in the beginning of the school year, we pretty much bring everything, and we get a couple of days early too because we have to bring so much because we're here from the start till like March. So sometimes we get little breaks in the winter to move our stuff out and come back with new things. But we mostly just move in a couple of days earlier than everyone else, and we just bring all of our stuff because we're gonna be here until pretty much March. So.
Mm. And y'all, we'll ask this question here in the chat. What is the one thing you didn't realize that was a big difference between high school and college as you transition? Don't all speak at once. Go ahead, talk to me. Whoever wants it first.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing coming in from high school to college is time management. That's probably the biggest thing, and that's going to probably be your best friend is time management outside of having resources. You have to really focus on what you need to get done right away and not drag it on, because once you start to drag things on, it'll kick you in the butt, and you won't have that successful semester or year that you wanted to have because your time management isn't up to par. So I think time management is probably one of the biggest things that glad I picked up on right away.
I would say for me, I think it's the mental approach, um, athletically and academically. Academically, in high school, I had a 4.0, so I didn't really take classes that serious. I don't know how I got. I really just went through class. But then when I got here, I I couldn't go through the same way I went through class in high school now. Like I had to focus. I had to even get tutors for some classes, and take advantage of study hall, which is actually required for freshmen. I know it is for track, but I don't know about any other sports, but it is required for freshmen. Anywho, so academically, I had to lock in more. I had to find more ways to get, more out of my academics. Athletically, I had to approach practice with more intent. I couldn't just go through the motions. Not that I did it in high school, but I really had to key in because these are grown men and I'm going against, that their bodies are more developed and so on and so forth. So I would say mentally, I had to key in and find ways to get an edge, and I didn't really do in high school.
That's a great question. We got some more questions here in the chat. Kiana, can you answer this one? How do professors handle missed class due to travel?
Um, So our athletic department usually gives all the athletes like a paper with how many days you'll miss with games and like the dates. You can like hand that into your professor or email it to them. Most professors are most like really understanding and they'll help you catch up on work that you missed. They completely understand that you play sports, so they will get you caught up before you leave, or they'll get you caught up when you get back. But our department is really good with letting professors know that you'll miss. So um it's really helpful to hand them something from the department that so it like helps out with like communication with both sides.
Couldn't have said it any better, K Money. Um, when do freshman student athletes move in? Is it before the other students? That's another great question here we have in the chat. Again, I think we kind of addressed on this a little bit earlier. It depends on the sport, right? So in fall sports, I know, women's soccer, men's soccer, football, field hockey, typically that first, second week of August is usually move-in time for camp. Um, that too as well. So, winter, it's kind of like you're already here. So, essentially, if you're not like a sport that competes in the fall, you typically move in with the general population of students that in the later in the middle to the end part of August too as well. So there's another question that we have in the Q&A section here. Please keep firing the questions. I love it. This is for the students here. Have any of you studied abroad or know any student athletes that have studied abroad?
I don't know anybody yet, but I'm gonna be one soon. I'm
Yeah,
going this summer. I'll be in Belize from May 26th to June 9th. So next year run that question back and I'll let you know.
AJ Money, but no, that's a great point that you mentioned. So you're going to Belize, right, in the summer. What was the process for you to get that study abroad opportunity? How was that for you?
Honestly, it wasn't that quite difficult than I expected. So in Omer, which is where the Student Success Office is, I found the Study Abroad Center, and I found also too, a lot of emails we would get. Heads up, you will get a lot of emails. Make sure you read them. But within the emails, there was a lot of marketing about Belize, and also another program is going to be in Italy. But Belize was more affordable to me, especially from a student coming from a low income household. And I support myself. So it was something around my budget and I was able to afford it. I spoke to the professor, spoke to my coach. It didn't interrupt with like my practice times. And also too, it's a little bit towards the end of um it's the end of the semester. It's kind of starting where the summertime comes. So it didn't interrupt with any of my so sorry, any of my um summer we had like summer camp, so it didn't interrupt during that time because it's in June. Um Connected with them, got the help that I needed and financial help as well. Payment plans was very easy and if I wasn't able to make it on time, which I didn't have that situation, but if I wasn't able to, they also was gonna help with that as well. They also have scholarships that you can receive for study abroad programs if you were to go. Let's say you're a fall sport and you want to go study abroad in the spring. There's opportunities for that as well that you could get grants or scholarships, along with like the I forgot what it's called. The government funds, loans. There we go. You can also get loans as well. That's what I did, to also help out with the funds as well. But yeah, it's pretty easy. I personally prefer the summertime because, like I said, I wrestle winter sport, but wrestling it's kind of like all year round. You're always practicing and competing. So it best fit with my schedule. So I think that's very beneficial for if you have the opportunity and you're able to do a study abroad program. Lock Haven has so many, to Spain, to Italy, um, to I think to Japan. We have so many different opportunities and so many resources to study abroad. And if you speak to your coaches, I'm more than sure that you're able to figure out a way and a time where you can study abroad that fits your schedule and it doesn't affect your academics or athletics.
Great answer, James. Great answer, Janeda. Um, here we go right here. So we have before we close up shop here, and please, if anybody thinks of any last minute questions, please, again, feel free to pull up them in the chat. But I have a question for our student athletes. Abby, if you want to start us off here with this one. So athletically, think about this all. You had to start over as a freshman all over again, which was a very humbling experience for everybody, right? You're at the top of your game in high school. You come to college, you have to, essentially start all over. And it's a humbling experience when you leave high school at the high level of your performance. What are some challenges you've experienced in competing, and how are you making sure, like, not only are you competing with yourself, but you're also competing against people who know you're on the same team with? How are you, what are the challenges you have experienced in competing, and how are you making sure you don't fall off on the athletic side too?
I think that's a good question. Coming in as a freshman, like you mentioned, you're one of the top athletes on your high school teams, on your club teams before college, and coming in here, everyone's the best from their home teams. So I think really approaching your first year as like a learning opportunity. Like, you obviously, if you're standing out on your team, on your college teams, you're going to get the minutes, you're going to get the time that you deserve because you're working for it. But I think really taking the opportunity to learn from the upperclassmen on the team, learning the plays, learning the tricks and stuff like that, is important, and not just assuming that you're going to be playing every minute of every game or running every race. Yeah, I think it's important to just use that time, those first couple months, while you're getting to know your teammates and getting to know your class, is just really emphasizing learning.
Mm. And giving yourself grace too, right? Like giving yourself grace to, don't, I always usually say, like, here you don't have to be the all-American, the you don't have to be an all PSAC player to be treated like an all PSAC player. The way you are, how you treat people. You treat people with respect, you'll get respect back. And that's a great point that you mentioned about giving yourself grace to be able to transition into, because everybody wants to be the starter right away. I'm pretty sure everybody experienced it at their, in their respective levels. Everybody wants to be the main character, but, figuring out ways to contribute as a freshman, whether that be, you're on scout team for practice, your coach needs someone to, be a part of this drill because no one wants to step in and do it. Doing the things that nobody wants to do is what's going to help make sure, as a freshman, you get noticed a lot earlier, not only just from your coaches, but from your teammates too. You want to gain respect from your teammates. And the way you do that is by putting in the work, is by, working hard. And that not only translates on the field, on the mat, on the court, but also in life in general. When after you're done with college playing sports, the same way you gain respect in your respective sport is the same way, you gain respect from your peers in the professional world too as well.
I
So
think it's important. Oops, sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. I think it's important also for student athletes to remember that, putting in the extra work and stuff outside of practice is what's going to put you ahead of other people. Obviously, you're a team and you're competing together, but if you want the time, putting in the extra work is going to be important. And also remembering that there's things that you can do that aren't going to be on the stat sheet all the time to support your team and, ultimately lead them to success.
Yeah, to add to Abby's point as well, I think it's very important to find ways to get the edge, but also I wish I could use this advice when I was a freshman, but listen to your body. When I was a freshman, I was going against guys that were PSAC champions and qualified for PSACs every year that they were in college. And me being a competitor, I was with them every rep. And it cost me. Like, I pulled my hammy 6 times last year because I didn't take care of my body, and also I wasn't listening to it. So I would definitely recommend you guys to, for one, sleep, get enough sleep, right? I know the transition from high school and not being around mom and dad's roof. Y'all think y'all could do whatever y'all want. You could, but it's not recommended. So be mindful that you're not, out, you know what I'm saying? You're just focusing on your craft. That's why you came here. You came here to get better. So focus on your craft. And with that, take care of your diet, take care of what you're putting inside your system, because that's what's going to fuel you, academically and athletically. And then listen to your body. Like I said, if you're hurting, we have a great training staff that can help you. So yeah, utilize what we have here at Lock Haven, and you'll make the most out of it if you put the effort in.
I couldn't have said it any better, y'all. Well, students, families that are watching right now, I want to thank you for taking time again out of your evening to join us here. Please give a virtual round of applause for our students, student athletes that took time out of their evening to join us too as well. Huge thank you to Doug Spatafor for taking time out of his evening, and Albert Jones too as well to drop some knowledge on some future bald eagles to be able to hopefully make a smooth transition here to the Haven. It means more, here at the Haven, it means a lot more. And I hope you've got a chance to see that a little bit throughout the recruitment process. But honestly, here at the Haven, it's a small college town. It's everything you dreamed of. I'm talking about, you cut me open, bald eagles start flying out of my veins. That's how serious we take it. That's how serious we take Lock Haven athletics. We want to be the best in everything. We want to win. We want to win, and we want to graduate student athletes in a 4-year degree and send them soaring off higher and doing amazing things outside of the Haven, and hopefully bring back to students here too as well. So again, virtual round of applause for all our students. We hope to see you on campus in the fall. Go Bald Eagles, and stay locked in.